Dude, this is like a super sensitive subject that I've got to talk about because people bring it up and they bring it up all the time. And like, even your friend that works at the dealership, you're sort of thinking in the back of your mind, how much is this guy actually making off me right now? Let's dive right in, huh? Car salespeople have multiple avenues of making money. Whether or not they choose to explore those avenues is completely up to them. Now, we've got making profit in the sale of the car. We've got profit in giving you less for your trade-in. We've got profit in selling you stuff when you go into the finance department, whether it be wheel and tire insurance, warranties, jacking up your interest rate. There's all sorts of ways where they could make money. The sale of a new car is where people are mistaken when they think to themselves, oh, car salespeople are making a killing off of customers. When it comes to new cars, they're generally not. My experience is from a BMW dealership that I used to work at, and we were given a 15% commission on the gross profit of a car. So if we own the car for, let's say, I'm just going to give an arbitrary number, $40,000, and the car's sticker price, the MSRP, was $45,000, and we were able to sell it for 40, as in what we own the car for. And that means that there was no actual gross profit to be made. In those situations, the car salesperson didn't make anything but a flat commission, often referred to as a mini. Now, if let's say we sold that same car for $45,000, then I would have made 15% on that $5,000. So if we had a $5,000 gross profit minus out a couple administration fees, let's just call it $5,000 in gross profit though.
10%, which is $500, and then another 5 is $250. So
I had the potential of making $750 as a salesperson in that sale with a gross profit of $5,000, and whatever was left went to the dealership. Now, that's not always the case, especially with the last 15, 20 years where consumers know the price of a car. They're able to log online and figure it out. Usually they'll sell a car for even under what they own it for because they know, they can make it up as they go. They'll jack up the interest rate if your credit isn't, tier 1. They may be able to sell you a warranty. Maybe they're trying to hit a performance quota. There's all sorts of factors involved when they're quote unquote losing money on a car. However, if they're selling you a car that's very hard to get, then they're making a hefty profit on that car. If you're leasing out a car and they're showing you a discount and they're marking up your interest rate on the other end, at that point the salesperson isn't making money on that car because technically the dealership's discounted that car. The finance manager and the dealership are making money on that sale because technically speaking, the salesperson is also the consumer in this end because he only was able to show you a $5,000 or whatever X is as the discount. The finance manager controls the profit on the APR. Let's dive into a little bit on used cars. Now, this is how salespeople generally make their profit. People absolutely go crazy when they see their trade-in value at the dealership, and this is for the right reason. You should go crazy because this is how car salespeople and in general dealerships profit. Now, when you're trading in your car, let's say, the car is actually worth to the dealership $20,000 and they're planning on selling it for $25,000, and they convince you that they're going to give you $18,000. They just made in hopes to make $7,000 on the sale of your car. When I was selling cars, we were able to get 20% of that profit as the commission. Now, if you were to do the math, that's $1,400 in commission as a salesperson, let alone the dealership, on that used car. let me give you another example of how car salespeople make money. Now, let's say my manager told me,
salesperson,
go and tell that customer that his car is worth $20,000. I, as a salesperson, go and tell the customer, sir, your car is worth $18,000. That $2,000 that I just deflated your trade-in value, I also make commission on, even if I'm not selling that used car. That $2,000, I was entitled to a percentage, which was 15% of that $2,000, and that amount got added to the commission of whatever I was trying to sell you when you were trading that used car. So if you were buying a brand new car and we were able to make a gross profit of $5,000 on the new car, so I made 15% on the new car's gross profit and I made 15% on your trade-in value. Now let's dive a little bit into back-end profits, as in warranties, etc. So car salespeople in general don't actually see the profit when you buy a warranty or when you buy wheel and tire. However, the finance managers are in agreement with the dealership that they will give the salesperson a little bit of money from that profit, just as, as a courtesy, like, hey, we sold this customer a warranty, here's a $50 commission. Or, hey, we sold a wheel and tire insurance, here's a $50 commission. So it starts to add up in that salesperson's paycheck. Another way a salesperson makes money on a car is by hitting, and this is very, very important, especially if that salesperson isn't actually making any gross profit on his new cars, as in every single car that he sold is a new car and they're not really making a ton of commission on. This is generally how that salesperson is actually earning a living. And please, please pay some close attention to this the next time that you buy a new car and you like your salesperson. Generally speaking, a salesperson has what is called a customer satisfaction index. So if you as a customer are satisfied with the performance of your salesperson, you're generally sent a survey by the manufacturer. And in that survey, if the salesperson receives anything lower than, like, let's say a 95%, he won't get a satisfactory score. And generally speaking, the dealership needs to see a satisfactory score in order for him to get paid a bonus on each of his sales. Generally speaking, if you got 10 cars, if you sold 10 cars and your customer satisfaction index was above a satisfactory score, which is very, very tight, it's usually 95%, if you meet both of these criteria, then you get your bonus. If you don't, you lose that bonus because you weren't able to meet that customer satisfaction index score. And that's generally how honest salespeople lose their profit or lose their paycheck at the end of the month, because of that factor. And this is, quite frankly, the most important factor on how salespeople get paid, big bucks by meeting that goal. There'll be a completely other video about how dealerships in general make their profits. However, this was focused specifically on car salespeople and to sort of give you some sort of insight as to where and how they're actually making their money. That new car that you're buying from that salesperson, he may not actually be making the same profit that you have in your mind. However, they have ways of going about getting profit from the overall picture. I hope this video helps. If it did help, please give it a thumbs up below. If you're seeing this on Facebook, share it maybe if I'm lucky. And if you're seeing this on Instagram, just feel free to just double tap the hell out of the screen. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.